Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. So yesterday we got a new dungeon made, so we made some new pixel art for this dungeon. We walk in and we can come in here. Yo, why is my frames? I was running at like 30 FPS there. Okay, so we've got this new dungeon. Now we need to add another cabin down here. So we need to change our warp zone down here so that it takes us not to the ice place up here, but to another log cabin, and then maybe we put in a NPC into this new log cabin so we can have two. And then what today's going to be about is we're going to try to get the updated state of the game deployed to the mobile deployment. So the web deployment for both the web and mobile devices. So there's a couple of things we want to tweak there, and then we'll call it a night. So let's start with building out our new dungeon, our new log cabin, actually, our new insides. So we basically just want this same exact thing, maybe minus the maybe minus the bar top, and then maybe eventually we'll add something like a bed or a nightstand or something. So I'm going to give ourselves another cabin, and we can paint the new floor in here. And then we can move the door, and maybe we want the door to be not here. Okay, so what we can do, how we move the door is we just put a new, we just move it. We say like over here, oh, this is the wrong level. Okay. Got to make sure we're on the right layer. So we want to go to the ground level, and we want to give ourselves this one. And then we want to give ourselves the door entrance. I think this one is the entrance. Yeah, maybe just like right in the center. I don't know. And then on the top level tiles, we want the transparent one. So, and this is actually really hard to tell if we've got the right one. Top level, we want this one, which, oh yeah. See how this one's transparent? You could see through it. That means it is the right one for the top level. So what that gives us is that will be rendered over our player. So the doorway will go over our player, but then we will be rendered on top of the doorway, so that we go over the black, but the doorway goes over us. So these are all just little placeholder rooms for now, but we can export this as our global map. It'll import it into our game, but we have to tell it where we want the warp zone to take us. So let's see if we look in our game, which scene is the scene that we transition into this new cabin. It is this one right here. It is an 8-3. Map 8-3 is where we want to put the new warp zone. So the warp zone that takes us here, instead of it being on 8-3, instead of it being on, let's look at it. So if we look for warp zone right here, it looks like right here. It's this one on 7-5. So we go from 7-5 and we want to go to 8-3. So this is the warp zone at 8-3. Oh, okay. No. Yeah. So the warp zone at 8-3 takes us to 7-5. We don't want it to at 7-5 anymore. We want it at 2-11. That's the map we just rendered. Now we'll have to tweak the X and Y so that it puts us at the right X and Y location. And let's just modify our spawn point so that we go straight to 8.3 instead of having to walk over there every time. Because this is what we're testing today. So we'll go to 8.3. We'll walk in. We'll see if it takes us to the new cabin level. Yes, it does. Wow, it puts us in the right X and Y location even too. Why does it do that? So what's happening is our player is walking in here. Yeah, how does it moves us. It actually moves us to the right spot because this is an accident, but imagine our player here. It gets spawned right here, which is over a collidable object, a collidable map object. So then it actually detects a left hit detection because that just happens to be the one we check for first. So we check for left detection and it says, oh, we're left detecting, so go ahead and move us to the rightmost spot until we're not colliding with a map object, and it puts us right here in the doorway. So it's kind of like a little cheat. I mean, it's just like more of a convenient way that we ended up working it out. We could and probably should give it a proper X location so that it doesn't just, have to collide and move us. But I'm gonna move the Jimmy cam so Jimmy's on, and I'll turn off the light above him so we can maybe see him better. And now we just see the light. Okay. Well, maybe the other way we had it was better, but whatever. Okay, so let's move us. This is the X and Y of the warp zone. This is the X and Y of the player. So if we were to put let's just try to put 50 for the Y on the player and see, because I actually thought that would be a higher value than 100. Okay, so it does move us up. So that's the X where it's really moving us, but we detect that collision. So we could just count this on a tile basis, which will probably be the best way to do it. Oh, see, that jacked us up. Yeah, we'll count how many tiles up and over we are so that we can get this right. Okay, yeah. So it looks like we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiles over, and then just 1 tile up. So 6 tiles over. We want our 100 to be tile size times 6, because that should be the X of our player, and the Y should be, let's just try to put it at the top so we can make sure our X is looking right. Oops. Okay, our X looks way off. Did I really? I said 6 and then I typed 8. Is that what happened? Okay, so it looks like it's only 5 over. Oh, because if it's 6 spaces, oh man, I hate that this happens, man. Why does this happen? It goes behind the terminal there. I hate that. Okay. Okay, so that looks right on the X because we can walk straight down and come out of the door. So let's get our Y correct, which should be... Oh my god. We're bricked. Okay. Let's do a virtual height minus 1 tile size. Sweet. Probably needs to be a little higher than that, right? So, see, I don't like putting these random ass magic numbers in there, but I think tile size times 2 is too high. So, the issue will only arise once we put the other warp zone down there, because we collide with the warp zone at some point, and if we appear, if we travel into this room and are colliding with that warp zone, we'll travel right back. So we do need... Let's see what tile size times 2 is. I think that's too big. Oh, no, that's perfect. Yeah, that's like perfect. Well, it might need to be a bit higher actually, but we'll see. We'll put another warp zone, just this time at 211, because we want to be able to transfer back. You know, we want to be able to transfer back to the place where we entered. So, we will put this at 8.3. And for right now, let's put our warp zone. See, this is crazy. It's hard to do. It's hard to look at code and make sense of this. Let's just put it at like 3030. That's the location of the warp zone. It's a green box. Like we actually render the warp zones, but we put them outside of like viewable places. So we should actually be able to see this warp zone. Cool. So there's the 3030 warp zone that should take us back to where we entered. So we collide with it, it takes us back. Now it needs to put us back where the entrance was. So we can come out of the door, right? So we've got it half working. So what we have to do is we take the X and Y for where we have the other warp zone and say, essentially, just put us where the other warp zone is. But we do need to shift it so we don't constantly trigger a warping back and forth, because we just transfer into colliding with it. So we need to shift it by a certain amount. We have it up here. Let's see. X and Y. And then a player width, player height. 32, 100, and then we come back. So it looks like we add 3 to the X and add 25 to the Y. Let's just try it. Let's add 3 to the X and 25 to the Y. And then, so that means we'll both, I guess it depends if it's like an entrance walking upwards, but I guess it will be. You know, I want to figure a way to automate this, because it's so much work to try to get all these things placed. And if we want to move, see how that, it moved us to the wrong place. So that means the player X and Y was incorrect here. So yeah, on the warp zone here, we need to move us. Yeah, this wasn't right. Needs to move us back to where we were when we collided, which let's just put where the warp zone is, and we'll see if that just gives us a perpetual warp machine. Okay. Okay, it doesn't put us in the right spot. So that tells me that this one is wrong. These third and fourth parameters are wrong. So like if we were to put us up closer to the top, I believe it's the player, the third and fourth parameters that move us. So let's see if we come out to the top left. Just where this square is, we should be up there. Okay, we are. So yeah, we just... Oh, we need the area of the warp zone, not where it warps us to. So these two need to be basically this value and basically that other value. So like this is, gosh, looks so cryptic, but it's like first two parameters. This is the X and Y of the warp zone that will trigger us to warp somewhere. That triggers the transition, and it also switches us to have a current map of these last two parameters, which in this case is map 8-3, because this is the warping back from the 211 warp zone. Jeez. Okay. And then these 3 and 4 are the player X and Y, where it wants us to move. So this should be the perpetual warp that I was talking about. Let's see. As soon as we come out of here. Yeah. So if this green warp zone were in the door here, we would be colliding with it when we walk in, and then it would get that perpetual warp. But it gets that perpetual warp, not perpetual, but it warps us back right away because we warped to exactly where that thing was. So let's go ahead and make this. Let's keep the X. Let's just add 5 pixels, and technically even just 1 pixel would put us out. Why do you do this? Even just 1 pixel would put us out of colliding with it. Maybe not. Dude, something jacked up is going on. Okay, we have 25 higher. So let's try to do 105 for the Y. I think it has to do with the hitbox. Well, yeah, see, that's not quite right. You know, ideally we have a... What would be a good way to do this? For future development, because it's like I'm sitting here manually trying to move these warp zones and places and stuff. And it's so hard to just place one warp zone. Ideally, we just say, give me a warp zone at tile 2, 3, and have it take us to map 8-3. And then at map 8-3, give us a warp zone at tile 8-2, have it take us back to 9-3, or whatever the hell we decide. It would be nice if we can just kind of functionalize that and just say, here's the location of the warp zone. Here's the location in tile width and height. So tile 1-1, whatever, we set the collision for that. It does what the warp zone does, just a little easier. All we have to do is say which literal tile are we trying to warp from, and then which literal tile are we trying to warp to. And then we outsource, abstract all of this plus 5 pixels to the right and 6 pixels down when we warp back so we don't collide with the, we do that once in this function, and then we just simply give it which tiles to do it, and we handle all of that for us. So that'll probably be next. I do not have the confidence to do that right now. I'll tell you that much. But we are clearly wrong. Let's put our, we need to put us back where this warp zone is. Now, this gets wrong because our warp zone wasn't prettily put. Okay. Yeah, we really need to do this. Maybe we do take the time and just do this. I wanted to get the mobile deployment done, but now I'm kind of thinking we do this. Let's just try to let's get this just working nastily. We'll get the mobile working, and then tomorrow we'll come in and do the nitty-gritty. So let's see how far off we are. When we come out of the warp zone, warping in is good. So we need an X of not 35, but more like 31. Or actually 32. And then we need a Y of maybe 90. So 32X, and we want to come out, so maybe like 91. So let's do an X of 32 and a 91Y, and that should give us a warp back of us right in the doorway there. So let's try it. Warp in and warp back. Oops, too high. So let's do, 91, not 81. Yeah. And, it would face us down because we're actually walking down when we trigger it, so we shouldn't have to manually change our direction or anything like that. So let's move our warp zone now. So we don't want to put the warp zone at 3030. We want to put it essentially where this one gets triggered. So for right now, we'll put the same tile size times 5. See, and this is what would be nice, is if we can just put which number of tile for the row and height, and then under the hood we're saying, okay, if we give 5, that means tile size times 5. And if the second one is 2, then we say virtual height minus tile size of 2, or convert it to whatever we need to get the right numbers, so that we can just say at 4 tiles over, 4 tiles down, that's where the warp zone goes. That would be nice. Then we don't have to do all this stuff. And it's hard to look at all these numbers and try to wrap my head around what they're doing. Okay, so let's see. Hopefully we don't warp back as soon as, okay, it is jacked up. So we do need to move it down. So let's do minus less of a value by 16, and then it should be lower than us. Let's see. And actually, that looks perfect. Nice. Okay. I like that. Look at us. Okay. Oh, what happened there? What just happened there? What just happened? How did we do that? Why does that trigger a warp, bro? 8-3 warp zone. Oh, man. I don't know. I don't know why that triggered the warp zone. It'd have to be this one. It'd have to be this one, because this is the one where we're putting the warp zone on 8-3, and that's the map that we're having that issue. If we turn that off, we're on 8-3. Now we don't have the warp zone issue because we don't do that thing. So where is it that this warp zone is getting triggered. We're saying the X, well, yeah, this is 35 and this is 80. Yeah, 35 on the X, 80 down. So let's see where 3580 is. And if we look at this, 3580, 80Y is about right here. Yeah, it's inside the thing because 30X is right over here. So it's right up inside there. But when we go over here, let's see. We can walk over here, fine. We can walk down, fine. Oh, what the heck just happened there? What the heck is happening there? Why are we getting knocked? What is happening over there? That is so strange. That looks right. I mean, that looks right. Yeah, 211. The 3580 looks right. And then it puts us... Let's maybe put us in a bit higher. See if that doesn't fix it. I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't stop us from triggering it, right? If we go here. Yeah, what the fuck? Why is it triggering? I'm curious if our other doors are screwed up like that. They are. What the... What? It's just if our X is like equal to it. So maybe... Oh, I know exactly what's happening. Oh man, I know what's happening. So what's happening is our warp zone is here. It's green. It's being rendered under the cabin. And it's right here. And what happens when we shift downwards, for example, our player goes from the bottom of the screen and it tweens up to the top of the screen up here. And in that movement, when we go from here to the top, we actually collide with our green warp zone, which then triggers it. Yeah. So we just need to we only need to check for collision in our warp zones only if we're not shifting at the very least. So we need to, let's see, warp zone collides. Well, first we want to say well, I guess we could say if not shifting. And is shifting a global value? Let's see. Shit. It's still busted. Where is our shifting? Self-shifting. Self-shifting from our scene. So our current scene needs to not be shifting. Self-shifting on our scene. Okay. So where's our scene? Our scene is our current scene. In our play state, what is it? Scene view is our scene. Okay, so if scene view dot shifting, if not scene view dot shifting, go ahead and return true. So if not scene view dot shifting, then go ahead and return true. Otherwise, return false. That should fix it. Nice. And then do we still teleport? We do. Okay, nice. Okay. Okay, so we've got this one working. And we can come down here. It doesn't collide. That's very good. Then we can also go up to our dungeon, which has this. And we can also go into our tavern. Cool. Okay. And we can talk. That's sweet, man. Okay. Oh, I wanted to put more than a mage here. So, like, if we go into our declarations here, mage. Okay, so instead of saying, hi, I'm a mage, I want to do a... What can we say? Let's try that. And we'll go back. We'll change our spawn point back to here. So look, there's plenty of danger around, but treasure too. I like that. And then we can talk to the shopkeep. He says, what do you want? And then we don't have anything in the dungeon. Maybe, oh, you know what? Oh, this is it. This is the move. We put the geckos in the dungeon. Yeah, we put the geckos in the dungeon, boy. We'll put them in here. And then you can come in here and fight them. And then... yeah, let's do that. So right now, geckos are on map 7-3. So let's go. We want... our dungeon is what? 11? 111? No. 112. 112 is our dungeon. And I already forgot the other number for our geckos. Which is 7-3. Okay, so let's go to our map declarations, and we'll go into 7-3 when we insert all of our geckos. So we insert them right here, right here. All these geckos, we say, give us 4 entities. At 7-3, we want to say now that is. At 11, actually 112 is our dungeon. So 112 instead of 7-3. And then all of these 7-3 need to now be 11-12. No, 112. Is that what we had? 112? 112. Let's do that. So 1 and yeah, 3 with 12. Okay, let's try that. Let's see if we successfully put our geckos in our dungeon instead. No geckos here on 7-3, but if you walk into the dungeon, we've got our geckos there. And we can put them on the other side so they don't get in the way. You know, we need to give some collision detection for them so they don't walk on the walls, but I don't know. Yeah, let's either we move the doorway over to the left side, or we move the geckos. Let's move the doorway. So in order to do that, we just have to redraw it real quick. We would take away our above ground tile right here, and then we would paint this on the ground level, and then on the ground tile we would give the darker one, which is this one, and then on the top level actually top level is where we'd put the transparent one, which you can see the transparent one right there. And then, once we export this as global map, all we have to do is then... Our game will probably handle it because it'll detect a collision detection here and move us, but it'll detect a left collision, so I think it'll actually put us over here. So we need to change our warp zones X for the player param over to tile size of 2, because tile size of 1 would put us here, tile size of 2 would put us here. So let's go to the warp zone. On this one, it should be the dungeon, which is this one, and we want to warp zone our player not at an X of this, but tile size 2 on the X. Maybe. Let's see. So we should be on the left side now. We walk in. Oh my god, it worked. It worked. Okay. I don't like that we can hit the geckos out of bounds. But also, they... Oh, and you know what? Maybe we can do... You know, in like Breath of the Wild, when you chase like a lizard, it'll be there and then it'll run away from you and then it'll fade. It'll just fade over time and you miss it. So maybe we can do something like that. Like once they're cleansed, they go to walk away and then after like a second and a half, they just fade. So maybe we can do that. Jimmy's moved again. Sorry for that butt shot, y'all. It was a double butt shot because it got Jimmy's butt and my butt. Okay. I say let's get rid of, at least temporarily, let's get rid of the hitbox detection. Okay, one thing I don't like about the current build is that we don't undisjoint our hitbox for our dialogue detection. Because it shifts once we walk into a room. So right here, that's right. See how the red is like right above our head here? And that's how we can detect an interaction with a character or a sign. But as soon as we warp, that gets warped. That gets disjointed because we needed to be able to talk to the barkeep. So let's find where we're doing that and see if we can do it a little smarter. Yeah, let's see if we could do it a little smarter. So, I don't think I like the idea of tying it to the warp zone class, because we might want to disjoin our hitbox in the forest or something for some reason, and that's not a warp zone. But let's see where we do it. Yeah, we should have commented where we do it. I don't know where it is. Warp zones, if we're warping... Shit, man, I don't know where we do it. We change, is this it? I want to say it might be here. We change our player's X now to... No, see, that's not right. We should have left a little comment called disjointed hitbox or something. I don't remember where we... Oh, extend dialogue upwards. Extend dialogue box upwards. Oh, come on. Extend dialogue box upwards. We do it right here. Okay. So, yeah, so the field is in our player class, and it's a dialog box Y. That's the value we're trying to change, depending on if we're in a zone with... See, and I don't like this for multiple reasons, because if we need to extend our dialog box, for example, to the right, this only does the Y, and it's only based on a field called extend dialog box upwards. So I don't know what to do about this. And it's only if we're facing up, which is just weird. So at the very least, let's see where we do this. We do this once we collide with a warp zone. So look, I'm going to put a disjoint. Disjointed dialog box. Gets true. Now, this is based on a V collision, and a V is a warp zone. So we could pass in a parameter to the warp zone that says, hey, if disjointed as a parameter is passed in as the 7th argument, then go ahead and extend this dialog box upwards. Otherwise, if we don't give it a parameter, set it to false. So therefore, only on the map we're warping to with the shop keep, we can pass that optional param in and say, yes, disjoint my hitbox upwards. It only solves the one problem we're having right now, but we could potentially add all the directions. Say, pass in a string. If the string is right as the 7th param, then go ahead and disjoin our hitbox to the right when we're facing right. If it's down, extend it down when we're facing down, so we can kind of extend it there. And then we can at least... That still has the issue of only doing it upon a warp zone. So I don't know. I off the top of my head, I can't think of another time we want to do that dialog box extension, but we might want to have something like that for other tools or other skills. But I think we can do that. We can say something like this. We can say if v dot disjoint, then we want to go ahead and extend it to be true. Otherwise, we want that to be false. Okay, so now we need to actually give us this disjoint field inside our warp zone class. So we can go in here and we can add a self.disjoint. And it's gonna get disjoint or nil. Now, I always mess this up. I mean, I don't know if I've done this correctly, where, we're saying or nil. So I'm assuming if we don't pass in the param disjoint, it's going to be like, oh, there's no disjoint, therefore nil. And then when we're asking this, we're saying if it is a disjoint. Yeah, and you know what? Not nil, let's do false, because a boolean, we can't ask a boolean if it's nil, I think. And I think that might be why I always seem to mess that up. But yeah, if we go in here, we can say disjoint or false. Therefore, either we get a false value in there, or we get the true that we pass in as the disjoint parameter. Yeah. So let's only give one of our warp zones a disjoint parameter, and that's going to be the one here to our tavern. So I'm going to leave us, this is our tavern, this is our dungeon, this is our, I don't know, we can call it the inn, So on the disjoint going to 111, which is going to our tavern, we're going to give it a disjoint of true as the parameter here. And we might, do we need it as a string? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. We're looking for a non-disjoint upon here. Oh, it doesn't have it disjointed in there. Let's see if it does it for the tavern, which is where we put it. So we're coming up here. Look at that, it worked. So we've got the disjoint so we can actually talk to this guy because he's way up here. So that's why it's so, the red box is so far ahead of us. But when we come out, it gets reset. That's cool. Okay, I'm glad we fixed that. And then it's an optional parameter, so it doesn't screw all of our other ones around. So I like that, but ideally we make it a little more extensible and not dependent on a warp zone. Ideally it's... I don't know if it should be part of every scene. I don't know. I don't know. We could do... I'm just thinking out loud here, like we could do a sort of system. Like, I don't like the idea of needing to manually define which scene has which type of disjoint. But like in the sense of like, gosh, I don't know. I don't know if it's that much of an issue, because we could just literally, we can do something similar where we test the current scenes disjoint table instead of the warp zones disjoint table, and we test the current scenes disjoint table. If there is a global table assigned, then we go ahead and listen what string is passed in. We configure our disjoint appropriately in which direction. And then if there's no disjoint in our global table, we just get the default dialog box. So I think that something like that can work. I guess it just comes down to, will we need another disjointed hitbox, and is it different than up? And do we, yeah. So like, I guess at that point we can think about how we want to do it. Okay, it's 10. Should we go for the mobile deployment? I think so. Let's go ahead and take off the render for our player dialog box, which I want to say is in our player class. Yeah, it's this one right here. Okay. So now we have that. Let's spawn us at 7.3 again, or 7.2. Okay, I got an idea too. Like, so the idea is like, oh yeah, okay, so that's still a test. So we can fix that. We can draw maybe a prettier flower garden and then wall it off. Because the idea is we don't want people's first experience with the game to be loading in the game and be like, okay, I'm going to explore. Oh, there's grass. Oh, there's more grass. Oh, there's some grass and flowers. Okay, more flowers, right? Like, we want to kind of be able to say, oh, that's cool. I like the stairway down there. We want to be able to say, to kind of like, at least for now, sequester it off so they can't go so crazy. Like, we'll give them one direction they can go out there and actually explore if they really dig in there and find it. But for the most part, we want them to be able to explore intentionally, right? Like, only go to the places where we've built stuff out for them to explore so they don't get lost, because we want them to be able to find the geckos, right? We want them to be able to be like, ooh, what's this sign say? And it says tavern up and geckos to the right or dungeon to the right. They're like, ooh, there's a dungeon over there, I guess, and then go find it, right? So one thing I'm realizing we did miss too is there should be, and it's not broken in terms of like not working, there should be a little triangle flashing at the bottom there to signal that it's at the end of the page. And especially for right here, there should be that triangle that flashes. We had that at some point and we lost it, so I'm not sure where we lost it. We have a blinking here, you know, where we should be blinking. If we're blinking, we set it to fully transparent. Oh, we're blinking white. We should be setting to black. Yo, where? Hold on a sec. What? Blinking. Yo, we took this out. We took something out here, because this is... What is this? This is a rectangle that is... Yo, I don't even know what this is. This is like the background color for when we're in our inventory state. No. This is just if we're paused. I'm gonna pull up the commit from a couple days ago and we'll see if I got rid of anything in here. Let's see. Yeah, we don't even know how to go see the commits here. Okay. Did we say... We didn't ever say that blinky... Oh, text advance icon. Yeah. Let's see this. Text advance icon. Yeah, we got the blinking, the blink timer, the blink reset. And let's look for our render. We've got the blinking. And right here, yeah. It's this that we added here. We set the color. Oh, yeah, we took out this. This draw text advance. When did we take that out? That must have been an accident. Okay, text advance, that should be it. Let's see. Oh, I saw it right at the end there. Nice. So there's that blinking. Cool. And it does wait. It waits till it prints out all the characters, even invisibly, for it to blink. I don't know if I like that. It was more of a lazy thing than anything. But we've got it back. I don't know when we deleted it, but we've got it back now. So let's build out. I want the test string to say a flower bed. And then I want another line to be like tavern up, dungeon to the right, right? So we can kind of like tease that there's a tavern up, and then we can put, I don't know, X amount of, we want 57 characters. So what we can do is say, let's just say 57 insert I. So that's all of the characters we need, but what we really want is it to say tavern up here. All of these need to be spaces. And then on the first character here, it'll say dungeon. It'll say dungeon. And then do a little arrow that way. Let's see if that works. Almost. It put arrows. It put arrows instead of spaces. Oh my goodness. Let's see. What? What? Why does it put little up arrows instead of the space I put in there? Tavern. I don't know why it's doing this. Oh, we're about to hit ads. Okay. No arrows. Let's go to our spawn. And go to, what is it, 7-2? Yeah. Okay, no arrow. So let's go add a couple more. Let's see. Where do those arrows come in? What the It's like anytime there's more than one space, it puts in a little arrow. Does it really do that for any two spaces? Let's say, hello there, can you hear me? We'll put in two spaces there and see if a little arrow gets put. What the it put in... Oh, you know what? I think this is an issue. Oh, no. Oh, it's taking the first character. Okay. Okay, so the issue here... Oh my gosh, okay, we're not going to be able to fix this tonight. Yeah, we might just call it. But the thing is, the issue is, we're using a space detection to essentially count how many words there are. So we're saying anytime we find a space, we're going to increment our word count, which is part of the adding characters line by line to each line to render it. So we're going to have to figure that out. I don't know if there's another way we can do this. I wonder if maybe we can add in... Can we add like a return character or something to give us like a new line? No. Put in a new line like that. No. Okay. I don't know how we're gonna tackle that, but it's taking, I want to say it's taking the first character. If we take that out, we take out the arrow, then put in double spaces, does it copy over that capital T? Yeah, it does. Okay. So I don't know. I guess for now we can limit, well, we'll try to figure it out tomorrow. It has to do with the word counting for any space detection, but we should have a way to do that so we can insert a space if it's followed by another space, which we did not account for. So we'll do that tomorrow, because I don't want to do that until we get the map a little more organized for the mobile deployment, because might as well make it, you know, make it so that we're happy with it. It's cool the geckos are in the dungeon now, which makes more sense. We'll have to add some hitbox detection for the entities, but that shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, I mean, that's looking good. We've got... So now, you know, we fixed a couple bugs for the warp zone. We added a new den, and then, or an inn, and then we moved our gecko around some, and we figured a couple things to work on. So today was a good day. We'll call it added geckos to dungeon and added in warp zone. Cool. We'll push that bad boy. Call it a night. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. Hope you all have a good night.